Good morning. This is the time and place for the Planning Hearing Officer hearing for July 17th, 2021. My name is Roger Kiesel, and I will be conducting the hearing as Planning Hearing Officer. We have two cases on the agenda today, both at the same address, located at 343 North Central Avenue. The hearing will proceed as follows. First, I'll read the description of the application or request. Second, I'll read the reports received from other city departments and other letters or communications from interested parties. Third, the case planner will make a brief overview of the case, give analysis, and make a recommendation. Next, the applicant will be asked to speak and present the case within a 15-minute time period. Then others in support of or in opposition to the application and interested parties will be asked to come forward to speak, again, clearly stating their name, and they have 3 minutes to speak. Finally, the applicant will be given the opportunity to make closing comments if desired, in response to testimonies given by preceding speakers within a 5-minute time period. The hearing will then be closed and taken under submission. Decision. After the hearing, the decision will be prepared in writing and will be in the form of a letter sent to the applicant and to all persons who responded to the public notice, either by speaking at the hearing or by submitting written responses and have provided their name and mailing address. The date of the decision will be the date appearing on the letter. Appeals. Under the appeal provisions of Title 30, Chapter 30.62 of the Glendale Municipal Code, the decision may be appealed to the Planning Commission within 15 days of the decision date, and the notice of appeal shall be filed with the Building and Safety Division located in MSB 101 of this building. Speakers cards. We are actually just taking phone calls at this time, and the phone number for that to call in should be on your TV screen. Now we'll get down to the actual hearing case, or the actual case that we're hearing today. As I mentioned earlier, there are two cases at one address. The address is 343 North Central Avenue. There is an administrative use permit, EAUP 1923610, and parking reduction permit, PPRP 1923609. The application or the project description is applications for an administrative use permit to allow the sales, service, and on-site consumption of all types of alcoholic beverages at an existing full-service restaurant, and a parking reduction permit for 59 parking spaces. The project proposes to construct a new 2,865 square foot outdoor rooftop deck above an existing outdoor covered patio. The existing restaurant provides 60 existing parking spaces off-site, 12 parking spaces on the adjacent lot at 310 West Lexington Drive, and 48 spaces across the street at 315, 317 West Lexington Drive. We didn't receive many comments from other agencies within the city. Neighborhood Services cautioned the applicant to comply with the city's fresh air ordinance. The police department didn't didn't have any concerns. They had some suggested conditions that are that are standard conditions for any restaurant with alcohol service. They did note that there were 7 calls to the address for police service last year. It doesn't appear that any of them were real serious. We also received one email from a nearby resident, and I'm not going to read the whole letter, but the letter writer is mostly concerned about noise occurring and emanating from the site. In addition, he says, in addition to the loud music, the restaurant causes traffic due to cars waiting and attendants running across the street. Also concerned about having a bar in full view of the public. The loud music was the most egregious, according to the letter writer. And he cites loud music played well past midnight on weekdays. So at the appropriate time, I'd like the applicant to sort of address some of those conditions. I believe we are down to, if I could ask Ms. Toledo to make a brief presentation on the case, and we'll go from there.
Okay, I just want to go over my slideshow 1 second. Okay, so as you indicated, Mr. Kiesel, the project is located at 343 North Central Avenue. This is Phoenicia Restaurant. It is an administrative use permit and a parking reduction permit request. The AUP request is, as you indicated, to allow the sales, service, and consumption of all types of alcoholic beverages. This is, again, to continue to allow that ancillary service at the existing full-service restaurant in conjunction with the expansion of the restaurant by constructing a new 2,865 square foot outdoor rooftop deck on the 2nd floor of an existing outdoor covered patio. The existing outdoor patio on the ground level will be enclosed, and a new 2nd level is proposed for purposes of creating an outdoor roof deck. And the parking reduction permit, again, is also associated with that expansion. So by adding the 2,865 square foot outdoor roof deck, and not providing that required on-site parking, as a result, a parking reduction permit is necessary. The existing restaurant, along with the new rooftop deck expansion, will require 59 spaces, and the existing restaurant, again, does not have on-site parking. However, they do have parking secured off-site at 2 different locations. One directly adjacent to the west is a 12-space parking lot addressed at 310 West Lexington Drive, and directly across the street to the north, there are 48 parking spaces located at 315 through 317 West Lexington Drive, for a total of 60 parking spaces combined. Peter just froze. I'm going to have to pause a minute because my slideshow, here we go. Do you see the next screen? Okay, good. So the existing site characteristics, the subject site is 19,900 square feet. That's an approximate figure. The location is the southwest corner of Central Avenue and Lexington Drive. As indicated, the existing use is a full-service restaurant. And again, there are two existing restaurant buildings. We have the 8,882 square foot total combined, which includes the 3,895 square foot main restaurant and 4,987 square foot outdoor covered patio. And then the outdoor seating areas are uncovered, but those seating areas that currently exist adjacent to the sidewalk or right of way do not require parking. Parking, again, we've established where they are located. Adjacent to the west, there are 12 spaces, and across the street, there are 48 spaces. And this is the location of the site where the restaurant is and the off-site parking directly west. And here's another view of the restaurant, the proposed expansion in the center where the brown retractable awning or awning is located, and then the adjacent parking lot to the west with 12 spaces. And then across the street, the 48 parking spaces to the north. And this is the proposed site plan showing the location of the new expansion, the 2865 square foot outdoor roof deck on that second floor of the existing covered patio. Another view, this is the floor plan and elevation. The elevation is the proposed, as noted on your screen, and then existing is down below. Here's another view. And I will quickly go through these photos and jump straight to analysis and how the project is consistent with the finding. As briefly noted, the zone is the DS Downtown Specific Plan Transitional District, and R1250/PS, which is a high density residential parking structure overlay zone. Now, how the project is consistent with the various elements and objectives of the general plan. The applicant, or in this case, the transitional district, does allow for goods and services offered in this zone, which generally attract clientele from adjoining residential neighborhoods. So the proposed expansion or full service restaurant is consistent with the objectives of the general plan. The continued on-site consumption of all types of alcoholic beverages at the restaurant in conjunction with the expansion will not be detrimental to the public welfare or the neighborhood in general. The existing restaurant has not posed any problems since the opening of the restaurant over 35 years ago. According to the police department, they did not note any specific concerns associated with the request to continue offering all types of alcoholic beverages at the restaurant. Currently, in this census tract, which is 3018.02, allows for 3 on-sale establishments. Currently, there are 25 on-sale establishments in this tract. And Phoenicia is one of the 25 existing establishments. So therefore, there will be no increase in the number of on-sale establishments as a result of the AUP request. The restaurant frequently serves, again, alcoholic beverages as part of their food service component. Based on Part 1 crime statistics for this census, there were 262 crimes, 57% above the citywide average, 167. And again, within the context of this census tract, there is a higher crime rate. However, there is a high concentration of office workers and entertainment uses and financial institutions and the Glendale Galleria, which may have a higher crime rate. And those uses are and types of businesses are located within that census. And for that reason, that may be another reason why there is a higher crime rate in that area compared to the lower density residential and smaller retail areas that typify much of the city. As indicated, there were some police calls over the last year. However, there were no reports taken, and some of the calls were related more for not following social distancing during the 2020 year during the pandemic. However, again, no report was taken and there were no specific calls associated with noise or issues associated with the service of alcoholic beverages. So overall, the police department and neighborhood services did not have major concerns related to the request, and that would also include the parking reduction permit. While there are residential uses located in the area directly to the west along Lexington and also along Central Avenue, however, these residential uses have not and will not be impacted by the restaurant's request to continue its ancillary service of alcoholic beverages and the expanded restaurant area. There are similar uses in the existing vicinity that also have an alcoholic beverage component and have not proven to be disruptive or detrimental to nearby residential and commercial uses. So the applicant's request to continue serving alcoholic beverages at the existing restaurant will not result in any issues associated with the nearby uses in the area. All facilities or existing facilities are in place, including our private facilities such as utilities, landscape, parking, and traffic circulation measures are provided for the use and are existing. And we've discussed earlier that there are 2 off-site parking locations. Those were granted previously through a parking use permit to serve the use. And Phoenicia Restaurant has again secured off-site parking via those parking use permits, both at 310 West Lexington, which is directly west, and 315 through 317 Lexington Drive, which is directly across the street. Both locations are and will continue to provide accessible parking for restaurant patrons and employees. In terms of the parking reduction permit, the application again requesting for the expansion provides new floor area, which would be 2,865, again in the form of an outdoor roof deck on the 2nd floor of the existing covered patio. As a result, a total of 15 additional on-site parking spaces will be required. The total parking spaces required for the existing restaurant and the new expanded area on the 2nd floor roof deck will require 59 spaces. Again, Phoenicia has 2 off-site locations with parking secured off-site at the locations I indicated earlier, which total 60 parking spaces, again, which would be sufficient for both the existing restaurant and the proposed expansion. These 2 parking lots will continue to provide parking for restaurant patrons and employees. So the applicant's request to allow the continued sales, service, and consumption of alcoholic beverages at the restaurant. Along with that, expansion is not anticipated to create any new negative traffic-related impacts in the area. So staff believes that all findings for both the administrative use permit and parking reduction permit can be made, and therefore recommends approval of those entitlements. And as it relates to the conditions, their suggested conditions are pretty much similar to what was originally granted under the previous administrative use permit, with the exception that some additional suggested conditions are included associated with the expansion of the deck for your consideration. Other than that, I will conclude my remarks, and if you have any questions, I am available.
Great, thank you, Ms. Toledo. Why don't we have the applicant make their presentation? And then I've got some questions that either staff or you all can answer. Does that sound good, applicant?
Yes.
You ready to make the presentation? Okay.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Kissel, and good morning. I'm Aram Alajiajian, the project architect, representing Ara Kalfayan, who's the operator and owner of the restaurant. Let me say that the restaurant been in business in Glendale close to 40 years. And Phoenicia is not just a restaurant, it's a landmark, because, we do get a lot of people not, recognizing Glendale, not just, by Americana or Glendale Galleria. People travel specifically to be at the Phoenicia restaurant, which has this very attractive outdoor space, for sitting and enjoying and having their dinners, bringing their family along. Talking about the, addition and our request for what needs to be granted. I think the last year, the pandemic showed us the outdoor seating is going to be very popular from now on. We see not just Glendale, but all the cities are closing their streets and allowing more people sitting outside and dining. So this additional deck area on the second floor, will allow the Phoenicia to have their diners, be moved from street level to upper level, where they want some more privacy, for their dinner time and so forth. I think that it will be a good addition to a restaurant itself. We gone through the conditions. If you allow me to speak about this, we look at all the conditions. There are two conditions that we would like to talk about it, maybe when you allow us, Mr. Kissel. However, this is a much needed business to be continued, and we're not asking a new ABC license or alcoholic permit. The location of the bar will not be changed. The alcohol still will be served as it was served before. It will stay in the same location. And as you know, the food is great, and it will be on the rooftop deck. Not the rooftop, but the deck area on the second floor will allow basically for a dining experience, and the guests will be coming in, and alcohol will be brought up to the second floor. There's no bar situated, and we're not showing that on the plans. Bar situated on the second floor. So as far as the parking and operation of the parking is concerned, I think it's been handled very well in the past, and it will continue to handle it the same way. I would ask Ara if you have any more to add to this, please go ahead.
We've been in business, as we mentioned, for many, many years, and we have grown with Glendale city. That we have provided as needed everything to the needs of our guests. Now we learn that it's very popular and necessary for people to dine out. They're scared to go in anymore. They like to eat outside. And I think this deck will make a big difference in our operation and for the community and the Glendale to be a unique place. Instead of dining on the streets next to the cars, the pollution or everything, it will be much cleaner and nicer. I think will be more appreciated by our guests.
Thank you, Ara.
Thank
Yeah. And once again, to add, just in a general concept, we are in a DSP zone, which, encourages restaurants, commercial businesses, to operate in these zones. We are in a vibrant downtown area. As I remember, in 1986, when the Cooper and Associates developed the general plan and progress of the city of Glendale, and envisioning that time the city council envisioned Central and Brand areas becoming very vibrant, urban areas. And as we see the growth of the apartments and the residential areas close by, north of the Phoenicia restaurant, and more commercial developments to the south side, like a hotel and other projects that will come in. I think Phoenicia has always been a part of the family of the Glendale. It will really keep it a landmark name and serve the community. With this, I would ask you if you have any questions, we will be happy to answer, or we can discuss the conditions.
All right, thank you both for your presentation. A couple questions. Are there any changes to the alcohol service, or is this only coming up because the restaurant is proposed for expansion and the permit that allowed alcohol service needs to be renewed? Is that an accurate statement?
Yes. If I can answer on behalf of Ara, there's no change on the alcohol service or the way the alcohol being serviced alongside with the dinner and the food. This is not a bar; it's a restaurant with providing alcohol for enjoyment, with a dinner, and addition of the deck is simply adding the open air sitting for the patrons. That is the purpose here. It doesn't mean that the restaurant is going to be all the time 100% occupied, as we can see it. But as the owner Ara Kalfayan has mentioned, people like to be more private, more outdoors, and that's the purpose of it. And the alcohol service will be the same.
Okay, thank you. Are there any changes to the first floor of the restaurant or of the restaurant complex? And then also describe what you're proposing to do new on the second floor. So
Okay.
What changes are proposed on the first floor? Because I didn't see many.
Yeah. Actually, there are no physical changes, except with the exception of adding the staircase and adding an elevator for accessibility in case disabled access, people in a wheelchair like to access to the rooftop. We have to give them an equal opportunity of the seating arrangements. So the elevator and the staircase were added where the planter was, indoor planters, or the front steps were the existing covered patio or a deck. So basically, where the changes are on the second floor. The deck itself would be elevated on the existing columns. It will not affect any internal changes within the restaurant or the current outdoor seating. So it will stay the same. We're not changing that. So two exits are added from the top, one at the closer to the Lexington Avenue, the other one is closer to the parking, uh, which is to the west of the property. And then also, as I mentioned, the elevator. So obviously, for the convenience of it, we placed additional restrooms, which is part of the requirement when you um, have the second floor seating. We don't want the guests to or patrons to travel from from the deck down to just to go into the restrooms, and internal connection for the service from the kitchen area to the second floor. I mean to the deck, to the open deck.
Okay, thank you. Um, so currently the at grade outdoor dining has a retractable roof. You're going to sort of take that apart. That the current area will have a permanent roof now because on top of that will be the second floor dining. And then you're going to reinstall the existing retractable roof above that new area.
Yes, we are. Simply
Okay.
we can imagine that we're kind of lifting that retractable roof
Okay.
above the deck. That is the goal here.
Okay.
Basically. Yeah.
Okay. Now I know you mentioned that there isn't a bar or anything on the second floor, and that it would be a restaurant. But if you look at how the existing restaurant operates both inside as well as the outside area near the street intersection, it looks like there are lots of tables of 6. And then when you get the proposed second floor, the second floor plan, it looks more loungy, meaning it looks like maybe sofas and chairs and maybe coffee tables. Is that accurate? Does it, will this area become a waiting area for
No.
tables? Is it just, maybe explain how that area operates or will operate?
Yeah. Thank you for that question, Mr. Kiesel. Actually, the illustration shown on the plan is just very conceptual. As you notice it, uh, the setting itself, especially these days when you have a more outdoor dinings available to your patrons, it's the intention here is to make it more casual, not just, this is not a lounge, it's not a waiting area, because the purpose of this, spending the money and going through this construction is to have people having a full dining experience, at the deck, open deck area. That's so the illustration which is shown there, it's conceptual. The final drawings, which would be approved by the planning and the building and safety, will show the accurate, setting arrangement, seating arrangement, because fire department as well needs to go through these plans and approve them as far as the exiting and capacity is concerned. So that plan will show that this is the arrangement that is shown. It's very conceptual, and as I said, it's not a lounge. It's more of a casual type of dining seating here.
Okay. So, for instance, if I'm coming to the restaurant and I want a more formal atmosphere, I might request something inside the restaurant. If I wanted if I wanted the same experience, however, in a more casual environment, I might request the upstairs area, because other than sort of the atmosphere, it functions the same. I'm gonna be able to order the same food, have table service, have a drink with dinner. The operation is going to remain the same. It's simply, a more casual environment.
That's very true. That's
Okay.
what the operator is thinking to do, basically. And it would be if you're if you want a elegant, dressy setting, we also have that available. If you look at the plan, and the center section provides that, as well as the further east corner provides that sort of a private setting. But we like to have an availability for and treat them all equally, upstairs or downstairs, outdoor seating. As Ara has mentioned, the food would be the same, the service would be the same. There won't be any change as far as the operations and the services are concerned for the restaurant.
Okay, thank you. Um, I summarized the email that we received from the neighbor. Do you have a copy of that?
We don't have a copy, but we heard the concerns.
Okay. Can you maybe address
Yes.
how, can you maybe describe how you would address the concerns that the letter writer expressed?
All right, you want to go first? Okay. Yeah, I'll start. Okay. The noise and the noise concern is everywhere where you have a restaurant, especially in the urban areas. And this is an urban area with an urban setting. You would, you see it in every city, not just in Glendale, that restaurant has some noise, but not much of a noise. And operators are trying, always they're trying to control that. It's not a, this is not a huge restaurant where you have thousands and thousands of people coming, going in. Dining normally happens in the evenings, and especially in the weekends. The weekdays, the business is very light. And to say, in addition to this, due to the outdoor experience that Phoenicia is providing during the pandemic, most of the time, 90% of the time, the restaurant was open, and that did provided the service for the guests, and didn't lay off anybody from the premises. So it will bring a lot of joy to the people out here, and I think the concern of the noise is not going to be magnified as we see, because we have that in a downtown Glendale area, other restaurants that have a rooftop or a deck where the entertainment is there provided, or above the hotel deck. But every city has this. You go to Pasadena, LA, you would hear the light music, coming out of the place, and it's very entertaining, especially when we are trying to uh, urbanize the cities, and people now, and as far as the traffic is concerned, the people are now moving with the Uber and using more of a Lyft and other transportation systems rather than driving to those places, and the projects being developed north of the Phoenicia. Mainly the people can walk to this place, and we do see that people walking to a restaurant rather than driving it. So it does give you that walkability, opportunity that the people will walk in there as far as the traffic is concerned. So we don't expect increase in a major increase on the traffic, or any change on the type of the noise that is currently there. And as you can see, we hadn't had any major complaint from the police department, or other departments that uh, Phoenicia is, making. Otherwise, we would hear it. And again, the music is mainly for the weekends when the people don't go out. I mean, they're not working on the weekends. Weekdays you don't see much of a music happening you know, and a noise is happening in the restaurant because business is light, honestly. I don't know if Ara wants to add anything on this.
Fine.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, is there anything that you can think of right off the cuff um, that that you could easily incorporate into your plans that might address the letter writer's noise concerns?
Well, there's nothing could be modified on a plan that would, you know, as you know, the sound wave of the sound travels differently, you know. So it's not a, we're not talking about a light that we can barricade this or put some landscaping or some shielded elements that would kind of block the noise, you know, uh, spreading out. All we could do, you know, I think the music is basically, if there's going to be music, and that music is going to be ambient music, uh, and it's making a pleasurable experience for your clients or for dinner time, uh, and it's not an amplified music. It's again, it's a background music, and we I want to jump into that one of the conditions that we would really like to have the music extended on the deck, uh, at least at 10 p.m. You know, uh, because you want to treat your clients equally. You don't want to have a music inside and not have an ambient music outside, or same if you have it at the patio or at the corner of the street, you want to have the same opportunity at the upper open deck area.
Okay, I've got a few more questions, but since you took the opening, it sounds like you've got a couple concerns regarding the conditions
Mhm.
of approval. So that's one of my questions is, are you fine with the conditions or are there conditions that you are not fine with and would like to suggest changes?
Well, thank you for that question. Yes, you know, we review the conditions. We agree almost all of them, except the two conditions that we would like to have it changed. Or
Can you cite
yes,
sorry, could you cite the numbers?
yes.
And are they for the administrative use permit or are they for the parking reduction permits?
Administrative use permit, basically. It's
Okay,
on a page on a draft report. If I print it, you know, correctly, it's page 13. Condition draft conditions of approval under approval of administrative use permits shall be subject as the following condition number 10 and 11.
okay.
Those two
So,
conditions we like to, yeah.
okay, so condition 10 states that the hours of operation of the new outdoor roof deck shall be restricted to the following: 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your concern about that?
Well, we have a major concern about this because if the restaurant is operating, if you look at the condition number 9, which states the current operation hours, you know, if the restaurant is operational hours are extended, uh, uh, you know, Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 12 a.m., and then Friday and Saturday, 11 to 2 a.m. And then you cannot tell the people who are sitting at the, you know, upper deck to leave 10 p.m. You cannot close it, you know, because it's not good for the restaurant, not good for the operation, and not good for the image. People, you know, will complain about this thing, and you cannot relocate because you do have people sitting outside at the corner of the Lexington and Central and dining. You cannot ask them to move out of their seats. This is really is going to cause inconvenience for the operations, and we are asking to keep the same operations as the, you know, just on the deck as it is right now and currently operating, which is condition number 9.
Okay, so so that I'm clear, you basically you want the hours of operation for the new outdoor roof deck to be from 11 a.m. to 12 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday through Thursday, and 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. Friday and Saturday.
Correct.
You want the same hours of operation.
Yes, please.
Okay. You don't want to restrict the hours of operation to the whole restaurant to what we've suggested in number 10, though.
No, that really, you know, will paralyze these operations. I mean, but paralyze the services of the restaurant. You know, I can't imagine how you would lock down the portion of the restaurant and ask your guests to leave. I mean, it's you know,
Well, yeah, let me ask you this then, because I certainly understand if, I'm eating my dinner at 10 o'clock at night and, the host comes up and says, sorry, we have to close now. You need to move downstairs to this table. I totally get that, but I'm wondering whether, there might be something where you stop seating people up there at a certain time and that the customers up there slowly trickle off as the evening continues, as they finish their dinner and go home. It may be 10:15, 10:30. You just don't seat anybody new there after a certain point. What do you think of that idea?
well, we don't think that's going to work. It is fair to guests because basically you are putting I wouldn't say the word. I mean, you are discriminating some of the guests. You're telling them that you are here for having outdoor dining under the stars, and we cannot accommodate you. You know, if you are arrive 10:01, you cannot be sitting there. Or if you started your dinner 9:15, then 9:30, you can't carry on going. Because people will not understand that. They will come in and say, why you have people sitting up there? And I'm not, and myself and my family cannot sit up there. You still have a dinner continue.
Yeah, I mean, that area certainly closes to new seating at a certain time, 10 a.m. or 10 p.m. I mean, that's how you handle it. I'm sorry?
Doesn't work. Yeah, it wouldn't work. It will, we will lose customers. Over the years, we have trying to attract people from outside. When I started this restaurant 40 years ago, people used to go from Glendale to Pasadena, Burbank to dine. We have changed that image, and we have brought bringing a lot of people from outside to Glendale. That's a business for Glendale. So if I'm going to tell them leave at 10, they say, okay, we'll go to Pasadena. Why should we stay in this city? How are we going to deal with that? We're trying to bring people.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say you have to leave at 10. I would either say, you have to arrive to be seated before 10 or whenever that time is to be seated up in the upstairs area. Or if you want to be seated outdoors after 10, you may need to wait for a table at the street intersection.
Okay.
Do you understand sort of the nuance, the question there? Do you still think that's not feasible?
That's not feasible. It's not easy. The restaurant business as is, it's very difficult. And to sit down there and impose something that the city is imposing on us to close early, it will be very hard to do that. This business is hard as is. And if we come up with restrictions, it's going to be more hard.
Okay, so the area on the ground level now that is covered by the retractable roof, what are the hours of operation for that one? Is it a similar restriction?
Yeah, it's like a number 9. It's same as the throughout the restaurant.
Oh, it's the same. So if I want to eat in that area or I want to eat inside, the opening times, the closing times are all the same.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And so you also had a, a
11.
concern about condition 11.
Yes, please.
What is your concern there? Well, actually, sorry, let me read it first. That there shall be no bar or lounge area upon the premises maintained solely for the purpose of sales, service, or consumption of alcoholic beverages by patrons. So
Oh.
what's your concern there?
Oh, no, no, no. I'm sorry. I gave you the wrong number. You know, we talked about this already,
Oh.
as far as the setting and the alcohol services, as we mentioned, it's from the bar, not that there's no bar on the upper deck.
Okay,
It was
So
about
you're-
the music. Yeah, it was about the music, hours of the music.
okay, so what,
Mr.
What-
Key, so I think he may be referring to conditions 25 and 26, the second part.
Yes, 25 and 26.
okay,
I have that highlighted, sorry.
all right, so condition number 25 states that all music, lighting, noise, and odors shall be confined to the occupancy so as not to disturb occupants of other businesses or properties and patrons on the public right-of-way. No music is allowed in the outdoor seating areas, including the new deck above the existing outdoor covered patio. And then condition 26 states that no speaker system shall be installed in the parking area or the new deck above the existing outdoor covered patio. So what are your concerns about those two conditions?
Well, we think that ambient music is essential when you have guests dining on the patio upstairs. The ambient music also helps to cut the noise, street traffic noise. It gives you more, pleasurable ambience and pleasurable experience when you're dining. So we think that music is essential. Not loud music. Again, we're talking about not an amplified music, but just the background music. You can call it elevator music. That but just basically providing a ambient music. The lighting could be controlled. We don't see a major problem with that because it's an ambient lighting. It could be controlled. It is not going to be bright and overlit those areas, but it should be lit enough that you not to ignore any safety factor, any tripping or tripping hazards and all of that. So we agree on this. The lighting could be controlled, but the speaker system is not a huge speaker system. As I said, we would like to have, again, controlled ambient music at the time of the dinner.
Okay, so basically, if I'm understanding you correctly, condition number 25, you would just like to eliminate the second sentence. No music is allowed in the outdoor seating area, including the new deck above the existing outdoor covered patio.
Correct.
You want that struck.
Yeah.
And then you want condition number 26 entirely struck.
Yes.
Do you use the speaker system for anything else besides music?
Not for the dining areas. No, we don't use any speaker system. And a parking lot doesn't have any speaker system, by the way. You can strike that parking at the parking.
It doesn't now.
Yeah,
Currently, it doesn't have a speaker system.
No, it doesn't have any speaker system.
Okay. And there's no intent to put one in as a result of this project.
Yes, that we have no intention of putting the speakers in the parking lot.
Okay. All right. A couple more questions. Has the proposed project been reviewed by our city's urban design studio? You're doing work facing the public right of way. You're proposing to do work facing the public right of way. You know, install the staircase, install the elevator. You know, basically as you you're just lifting the retractable roof and putting it on top something higher. But all that needs to be reviewed by our urban design studio. Have they already reviewed it?
We have not received any comments from that, but we're ready to go through the process if we need to review this with them. Yeah. Have any,
Maybe Milka would know.
would Milka would know about it?
Mr. Kiesel, in 2018, we did meet with our design staff. Again, at that time, it was very preliminary as relates to the design. However, moving forward, in the future, if this is approved, then in terms of the current entitlements moving forward, the design would need to go through a design review process.
Okay. All right. The only other questions I have left are related to the parking. So I just want to clarify why the parking reduction is requested. Because in the staff report, it says that 59 spaces are required and 60 parking spaces are provided. The parking reduction is necessary not because you don't have enough parking, but it's because it's not on site. So you have a restaurant that doesn't have any parking on site. However, you have enough parking. Our code just states that you need enough parking and you need it on site. So the parking reduction acknowledges that there isn't on-site parking. It's all provided off-site. Is that accurate?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. You know what? I think that's my last question. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And Mr. Kiesel, just for the record, the AUP that was approved in 2016 is due to expire November of this year, 2021. So as a result of it expiring in the near future and combined with the fact that they are expanding,
Okay.
why an AUP is before you today.
Okay. Yeah. Great. I appreciate that. Are there any callers by any chance regarding this project? Okay.
Mr. Kiesel, we have no calls at this time.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Mr. Kalfayan or Mr. Alajijian, do you have any other comments for me? Anything else you want to say? Yeah.
I just want to thank you for your consideration and cooperation. We thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. And I
Anything else?
would like to add that, as I said in my opening remarks, you know, Phoenicia Restaurant is a landmark. It is involved with our community. It helps YMCA. It helps the youth soccer teams and sports teams. You know, it's always been there for Glendale when it's needed. I think, you know, and with this, what we're asking here is a continuation of the same services, you know, and perhaps a little bit of a more quality seating and a quality expansion. What we have there right now, that would be really, you know, going to help our community to grow better. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Aaron. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. I am going to close the public hearing now. Thank you all for watching. It is, I'm sorry, it's 10:34 on July 17th, and I'll conclude the meeting now. Thank you.